So at the first slide, I will present about company profile. Our company name is Emerald Property Consultant, and the industry of our firm is more to real estate. So Emerald Property Consultant is incorporated in 2014. Actually, our firm is providing professional services such as estate agency, property consultancy, valuation, and property management within the Southern region of Malaysia. Our firm consists of registered and professional staff. So our summary record for our company is we have more than 5,000 number of property, and the value of property is more than 800 million. So as you can see, we have a registration number in our slide and the contact number if you want to know further about our services. We have a telephone number, email, and website. Next is we have a board of director, which is Muhammad Hafiz as a founder and managing director, and we have 3 associate director, which is first is me, Eva Natasha, the second is Nur Nadira, and the third one is Nur Shazana binti Osman.
The objective of this proposal is to assist Johor Bahru City Council in overcoming the empty issues in its jurisdiction area. The background of the Johor Bahru is located in southern part of the Johor. It is divided by 4 boundaries, which are Kulai District on the north, Strait of Johor on the south, Pontian District on the west, and Kota Tinggi on the east. Besides, there are 3 local governments such as Pasir Gudang City Council, Iskandar Puteri City Council, and Johor Bahru Council. For the methodology, we use primary data and secondary data. The limitation of this proposal is focused on the specific for residential and commercial properties. There is no wide definitions. Empty properties are not generally as direct to recognize as it might appear. For example, a home which seems empty might be an individual second in the home and involved really. Secondly, a vacant property may have designated as part of regeneration program and demolition may have already planned. Thirdly, property could be empty pending planning action, repair, or while anticipating the new occupants to move in. Next, there might be indication of occupation, yet this might be from vacants, and also property might be occupied but the backyard may be overgrown and home abandoned. According to Spear and Perkins, community-based can identify as theoretical approach that communities have a vital role and participate in significance to addressing the issue. In a society involved geographically and philosophically, the best indicator communities to actively design, develop, and also deliver their strategy to overcome the issue. Besides, the community members have to identify the problem, thus work together to address the issue. Furthermore, there are many communities that are being served by the government nowadays, and local authority have to identify the problem that happen in jurisdiction area. A community-based estate agency (CBEA) is seen to be an effective addressing empty properties in Johor Bahru. The services carried out by estate agent to be community and also give advantages to them without prejudice any written law, regulations, rules, standards, and code of conduct stated by the government and board of valuer, appraisal, estate agent, and property manager (BOVAR). The estate agency has a huge responsibility in carrying out the estate agent practice where it has stated in MEAS. The estate agent has to practice interacting with the community members regarding this issue. It is very important to have a strong bond between the estate agency and communities to reduce empty properties.
I am Nur Nadira binti Ismail Shah, and I will be talking about the local authorities and local communities relationship in regard to empty properties. Firstly, the relationship between local authority and local community can be strengthened through community forum on empty properties issues. The local government's openness is reflected in its effort to provide numerous opportunities for feedback and discussion with local communities. The second solution that can be made is by incorporating effective policies and procedures within locality. This is because, apart from assessing and meeting housing need and demand, the process of advanced planning and approval of housing development should critically examine the role of market criteria. Thirdly, by establishing a communities of rukun tetangga, the local authorities can set up a neighborhood association such as rukun tetangga in order to develop local community interactions with the local authorities. Other than that, there are a few factors that contribute to empty properties in Johor Bahru. The first one is low housing affordability due to high cost of living that impacts the ability of the people to save deposit to buy house. Secondly, political issues. The approval process at local planning authorities and state authorities, which focuses on the technical requirements, adds to the issue of overhang and oversupply properties. Thirdly, environmental condition. This is because the unattractive location of affordable housing projects, such as their distance from workplaces and lack of transportation access, has resulted in this overhang properties problem. Fourthly, supply-demand mismatch. It is due to local authorities' weaknesses in the planning approval system, with housing proposals being approved without consideration for actual demand. Lastly, COVID-19 pandemic resulted in low housing demand, on the other hand was observed during these economic downturns.
The first graph is about overhang and unsold Soho and services apartment in Johor. As you can see the graph, in Q3 2020, it showed the total overhang is 16334 and under construction stated 9055. It showed that overhang Soho and service apartment drastically increased from 2018 to Q3 2020. Alright, the second graph is volume and value of residential transaction in Johor. As you can see, in 2020, the volume of residential transaction in Johor is 16451 and the value of residential transaction in Johor is 5708.85, and it shows the volume and value of residential transaction in Johor is increasing from 2018-2019 but drastically dropped in Q3 2020. Alright, now we will move to the next slide, which is way to simulate the property market situation of empty property. And I was highlighted 3 ways. First way is by use online platform. A estate agent can create a professional website and can set up a local business page on the Google for real estate marketing people, such as they can make right keywords such as property in Johor, home in Johor. I think this is important as to attract the buyer and to ensure the public know about the property in that area. Through the online platform, all users on social media can find out the information related to the property. Alright, next is introduce home ownership campaign. Actually, HOC was extended until 31 December, and by this good news, estate agent can tell the public about the HOC and can tell them about the benefit of HOC. I think this can also minimize the level of empty or overhang property, because this time around the HOC comes with the same set of advantages as before, including free stamp duty. And the last way is by reduced price. Actually, when a home on the market is not getting any offer, it is usually because of the price. So the estate agent responsible can lower the price, and by reducing the price, it is able to attract prospect to buy a house, and it also can reduce the rate of empty property. This is because not at all prospect afford to buy a house with the higher price, and when the estate agent was reducing or lowering the price, so I think the prospect or the buyer can afford to buy it.
The challenges to mind is first the lack of public awareness, second insufficient budget, third is the dealing with the problem, fourth is movement control order restriction due to COVID-19. So First, dealing between two parties can be quite challenging while doing community-based estate agency. This is because a lack of all public awareness that has influenced by lack of knowledge regarding issue of the estate and the agency. Some people, such as the property owner, does not even have knowledge about their property and the issue of the estate. So second, to introduce a community-based estate agency by using the online application will be costing a lot to be implemented. Inadequate budget will very challenging because making an online application such as a website or any related application is costing a lot because it involves the process of development a new application, keeping the process database safely, and secure the access by the community. Next is impact of pandemic COVID-19 will be fell into 6 to 12 months. Also, the issue of improving property could take time between 7 to 10 years to be resolved and successfully addressed. So, based on challenging, any creative and proactive initiative can be taken by the estate agency and the agent themselves to communicate with the community since each other is struggling and under pressure due to economic crisis and currently situation that affect the property market value fall. Is when the government implement of the MCO, movement control order, estate agency practice does not allow, such as no visit, no viewing to the property, and also no face-to-face allowing during the dealing process. Because of this, the community does not have trust with the estate transaction activity. That's the situation where estate agency may able to use new initiative such as VR, virtual reality, or AR, augmented reality for property viewing, which is community can use a virtual simulation to see and feel the property without having to go there in pandemic situation. After interview the estate agency, they have stated their opinion on factor and solution contribute to empty property in Johor Bahru. For the factor is increasing number of people lose their job. Then second is Singapore Johor border has been closed due to MCO, and the new project development keep rising at Johor Bahru district. Then the problem that arise during the property ownership transaction, such as difficult to deal with the owner and the purchaser because they are stay far away from each other. Second is next is some owner is buying the property as their property retired, and owner also buy the property just for sale purpose in term of 5 years, but there is no luck when there is no buyer for purchase their sale property. Next is the offer price of the property is too high and does not match with the building area or land area. The location also is not strategic where the subject property is located from the city and nearby to the industrial area. And the quality of construct property also being the factors. So next, the owner offer overpriced and above market value for selling properties. And lastly, housing loan application is difficult to approve by the bank. So next, the opinion on solution. First is join the government campaign, which is home ownership campaign (HOC), or the owner do the overprice for the property sold. Owner can remake or make the renovation to the property such as repainting, purchase clear, and others. Also, owner can rent their property first, then try to sell to the tenants. And lastly, do the marketing, but must follow the standard SIG MIAS, Malaysia Estate Agency Standard.